Hi, good morning. My name is Father Rayappa. I have already talked about 9 Laudato Si models, and this is the last one, the 10th Laudato Si model, uh, which are practical applications of Laudato Si. What is the use of reading Laudato Si without applying to real life situations? So that was my effort, and I made 10 models. I think this is the last one, 10th Laudato Si model, which is titled Heritage Protection Team or Environmental Impact Assessment Team. Politics should have it, and every state government should have it, and every institution should have it, even in fact, every home should have it, because any project, before you start, you have to discuss what are the pros and what are the cons, and and how we are going to do it, and what are the environmental impact. For example, if there is a factory is coming to your village, and so far you didn't have any factory, and life was so peaceful and normal. There comes multinational corporation, big factory, and they promise jobs, and they promise economic standard of living, and people fall to their persuasion, and there goes peace of that village. So I think before anybody come to your neighborhood to start any factory or any developmental plans, they call it, but you have to say yes or no. You are the last authority. It's not the government that's going to decide for you. It's not the state. It's the local people are going to decide. So that is what environmental impact assessment team means. And also there are a lot of landmarks, and there are a lot of old buildings and old common areas, like hills and mountains and lakes. These are all common. Uh, the good, common good, and it is it belongs to everybody, isn't it? So a mountain, um, everybody is proud of their mountain. Everybody is proud about our lakes. Everybody is proud about their wildlife. So these things should be protected. So there are a lot of old buildings. People think, in the name of progress and development, they want to destroy old churches, old schools, and old parks, and old landmarks, old libraries. But people have to stop that and preserve them for the future generations. And especially in church circles like cathedrals and parish churches and parish presbyteries, rectories, should be protected. Not because the money came, somebody donated large amount of money, you can destroy the church or a school or a hospital or a landmark, and then you can build, rebuild, and build. And that's how we destroyed some of the uh, World Heritage sites in our own dioceses, so in our own parishes. So, and also part of the land should be protected in a parish without any progress in developmental plans, because parish priest comes or an administrator comes, he thinks that there's an empty land and we're going to build some building until that land is used, and it is not perfected. That's a myth we have. So empty land is already perfection in itself. It doesn't need human hands to go and poke and you put a building there. Without your building, it is a perfectly looks beautiful. So that land should be protected for the future generations without any human activity. When you buy even a piece of land, when you buy 10 cents of land, 2 cents of land, don't do anything. Just leave it to nature. And let the ants and let the wasps, let the bees live there. Let the iguanas, let the frogs. They need land too. And you have taken big chunk of it. 8 cents is too much. In my opinion, you take 2 and give 8 cents of land to the nature. In other words, take only 20%, 80% you give to the land. And whenever you come up with new idea to build house or to build a bathroom or to build maybe some workshop in your own land, always ask the family members, ask the neighbors, what are the environmental impact. So, environmental impact assessment should be made. And when you do even something in your own land, you need to discuss with your neighbors because you share that land with your neighbors, and they would suggest probably they don't want some of your land can be used in that way. So we should respect our neighbors, and it's a challenge, but still we should engage local people and neighbors in dialogue before you could do anything in your own land or in your own street or in your own village or in your own neighborhood. Pope Francis writes in Laudato Si, paragraph 182 and 183, I'm going to read it for you. Here is 182. An assessment of the environmental impact of business ventures and projects demands transparent political processes. So it should be transparent. So once you live in a neighborhood, then your own land, when you do something, it's not that private because we are all connected. And the whole neighborhood is connected. And probably your building can cause some damage, it can affect some part of the psyche of that village, of that neighborhood. So in paragraph number 183, Pope writes as follows: the local population should have a special place at the table. They are concerned about their own future and that of their children. So if some new projects come to your village, like industry, and people should have their own uh, opinion expressed and in a dialogue. Nobody can impose a factory in your neighborhood unless you approve of it. So that should be the norm. And so far, the business as usual models, nothing will be asked the local people, and nothing. People, that is hegemony. That is control. That is colonization. Even today, even though we achieved democracy in India, we still follow the colonial rules, dictatorship. And they never asked local people, and we are going to bring this big factory and burn an enormous amount of coal in your neighborhood, especially Neyveli. Neyveli people lives are ruined, and that ecology is dead because of coal burning. And poor people, they are paying a heavy price for it. So before starting any mine or factory or a school building or even a church or a parking lot or even a road, environmental impact assessment should be made. It should include all the local people and all the neighbors, from a child to all the way to your old man, one who is looking for graveyard. Everybody should be included. So I'm going to suggest some procedural steps how to make environmental impact assessment. Number one, people should describe their project first. What are they going to do? Show in blueprint, and what are you going to produce, and how you're going to distribute, and how much local people are benefiting. So the second one is description of the environment, and people should know the environment here. There are about 4,000 people live here, and animals are there, birds are there, land is there, and flora and fauna. And you can't put enormous amount of greenhouse gases, and especially the creatures, those who live in this environment, they can't take it all, and they can disappear within few years. So you should know the reality of the environment. Then identification of environmental impacts and how it's going to impact in a short term and a long term. And what are the damages and what are the repercussions. And suppose if you stop your plant, and who are going to take all that waste? Who are going to remove if it is not working? And it's going to cramp that place, and the whole neighborhood will be really suffering. The whole neighborhood looked bad because of that. A factory which was abandoned, like in Bhopal, the Union Carbide. Even today you go there. 1984 it happened, the big accident. But now, after so many years, even today that factory is in dilapidated condition. It's a disgrace. When you go there, even today you can see. I think the American company Union Carbide, Anderson should have taken the whole crap back to America, but it is still polluting in Bhopal. And there should be evaluation of environmental impacts and management and control of impacts. So who is going to control? Who is going to manage? Who is going to pay for it, in other words? And presentation of the study, it should be done by professionals, academics. They should prepare the detailed study, research, and public participation. How many people are going to be employed, and what are the wages? What about the health care? What about health insurance? And also judgment by authorities, government. Government officials should come and inspect maybe every month or once in 3 months, quarterly. So they should come and inspect from production, from A to Z. So this is what impact assessment means, environmental impact assessment. Pope Francis, in paragraph number 151, appeals to international community not to destroy the old buildings and old landmarks, temples, the cultural icons of a neighborhood or a city or a village or a state like Taj Mahal, and like in Vellore, the fort. That is my town. That is a beautiful fort here. In my village, in my Kattupudi, mountain, beautiful mountain. So all this should be protected. And any progress and development doesn't justify destroying already existing these beautiful places. But you can build new ones in a new place, but don't destroy and preserve this. And if it needs to be repaired, please repair it and then pass it on to the next generation. They are known as heritage places. 151 paragraph, Laudato. The Pope writes as follows: there is also a need to protect those common areas, visual landmarks, and urban landscapes which increase our sense of belonging, of rootedness, of feeling at home within a city which includes us and brings us together. And for example, you see, every Indian feels proud about Taj Mahal because it is in India, so it should be protected. In Cambodia, Angkor Wat temple is a beautiful temple. Every Cambodian, even if they don't have too much of money, they have cultural wealth. So like that, even if you don't have an economic wealth, and in terms of cultural wealth, people can feel proud, and they feel full of self-esteem. So they don't have money, but they have cultural icons and landmarks. So they celebrate it. In Ethiopia, they've got so much of beautiful valleys of flowers and mountains, Simeon Mountain, Jalada, baboons, all those items. People, I mean, what is the worth of money anyway? So I think mountains are more worth than money. Rivers and River Nile, Amazon rainforest, Western Ghats, more value than money. They're all biological wealth. And Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, you can't create them. Himalayas, can't create them. They have the biological wealth. I mean, we don't have economic wealth, even cultural wealth, but we have biological wealth. So there are three wealth: biological, economic, and cultural. Many people value cultural, okay? And other people value economic, cultural, economic. And biological, nobody cares about it. Biological is natural wealth. Sorry, Jaga se acha in India, 1905, I think Mr. Iqbal, he wrote, India is the beautiful country, the best country in the world. Sare Jaga se acha. Not because of its people and culture, because of its natural wealth like Himalayas, Ganges, Brahmaputra, tiger, peacock, cobra, all these flora and fauna of India. Many Americans and many Europeans, many foreigners come to India not to see your economic wealth and maybe cultural wealth. Economic wealth, absolutely no. They are not at all interested because we are not economically rich enough. So cultural wealth, yeah, we have it. It's okay, but biological wealth. People come to see our tigers, Himalayas. They come to see our peacocks. They come to see our rivers. They come to see our plateaus. They come to see our rainforest, Western Ghats, king cobra, lion-tailed macaque, rhesus monkeys, Bengal tiger. See, biological wealth. So I think all these things should be protected. And when somebody tells you, promises cultural wealth and economic wealth, tell them no, biological wealth is enough. Get out of our place. We don't want your cultural. We are already rich enough, and we don't want economic. We are already rich. We don't need any GDP, but our biological wealth we value here. Okay, get out. Out. Can't you understand that? Go and get a life. Go and get a life. Leave us alone. We don't lack anything. We don't lack your lifestyle and we don't lack your economy and we don't want it. Leave us alone. Get a life yourself. You go and get a life. So it's a sad thing. We don't want your economy. We don't want your anything. Your culture. We already are rich. Leave us alone. If you need, we will tell you. Then you can help. So please leave us alone. Leave all the people alone. They can live their life happily ever after. You know what? All these things happen because there is no justice. People, they don't have values. They don't have moral conduct. They don't have righteousness. That is what Pope is telling. All these things you go and impose your ideas, your globalization, your economy, your lifestyle, the monoculture. You know why? Because you don't have a life. Get a life. That's why I told you. Get a life. Learn to what is being righteous. Learn to be truthful and honest. Learn about values. Learn about ethics. Find out human persons are good species. They can do good stuff. Stop imposing anything, whether it's a religion or an economy or anything. We don't need it. We are already happy. We are content. Nothing we are lacking. Okay? So we are feeling sorry for you, in fact. That is, you don't have values. You don't have ethics. Here is Pope is writing in paragraph number 136, Laudato Si. In the same way, when technology disregards the great ethical principles, it ends up considering any practice whatsoever as licit. As we have seen in the chapter, a technology severed from ethics will not easily be able to limit its own power. You see, when there is no righteousness, you don't have values, and you find everything is lawful, everything is licit. You can do anything. There is no control at all. But human beings are full of control. Everything is beautifully God has created. But how come you can say no? And suddenly you are acting without any righteousness. In Matthew, Jesus says, chapter 6:33, beautiful. Seek ye the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and everything will be added to you. Got that right? Seek ye the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and everything will be added to you. In other words, seek righteousness, ethics, moral conduct, values, faith, hope, and charity, and everything will be added to you. So I think today, people, the economy, high economic growth, monoculture, thrusting on other cultures, exploiting the natural resources around the world, all this show that there is death of consciousness, there is death of morality, death of righteousness. I think the sound ethics can set limits. Pope also believes. In the paragraph number 105, Laudato Si writes as follows: contemporary man has not been trained to use power well because our technological development has not been accompanied by a development in human responsibility, values, and conscience. That is true. If you have values, if you have responsibility, if you have conscience, you will not go to other cultures and destroy them. You will not impose even your religious ideas and philosophical, theological ideas on other cultures, because you will respect the other cultures and other beliefs and other social systems. And every country have their own beautiful, ethical life, their own values. Don't be afraid, and everybody will be saved. Everybody is a human being. First of all, you believe a human being always is able to recognize the truth. You don't have to be schizophrenic about other people's souls, saving souls, because everybody can feel responsible for his own soul. We need to learn about it. We need to discover about it. Everything is within you. All you have to do is discover. The responsibility, values, conscience, everything is within you. Because you did not discover within you, and you go and do damage, confuse the whole world. And if you could be able to go inside and find all these things, also God is within you. The same God within others. So if these values are within you, the other human person who is made up of the same stuff as you are, he is also exactly like you. They should also have similar things within themselves, isn't it? And everybody has 7 billion people have the truth. So don't be schizophrenic. Don't be hypochondriac. People, they can find their own truth in God. They can find their own way. So Pope is writing also in 141 Laudato Si as follows: we urgently need a humanism capable of bringing together the different fields of knowledge, including economics, in the service of a more integral and integrating vision. Today, the analysis of environmental problems cannot be separated from the analysis of family, human, work-related, and urban context, not from how individuals relate to themselves, which leads in turn to how they relate to others and to the environment. So after all, we are all connected. Of course, we are connected, and we should include every discipline: economics, biology, philosophy, theology, Hinduism, Christianity, American, Indian, everything should be integral. At the same time, we have deeply rooted in our own ground and in our own culture. And we, at the same time, we can be, our own culture enables us to reach out to other cultures and not to condemn them, accept them, appreciate them, and embrace them. So that is the way we find integral ecology. And also, not only with human communities are integrated, we are integrated with animal communities, and we are integrated with the plant communities. We are ultimately integrated with the Panjabhutas, So I think Pope Francis, in paragraph number 8, he is adding more sins to the list, already existing list, and hurting uh, the integral part of creation. If you hurt animals, if you hurt plants, if you hurt even Panjabhutas, if you hurt human person, everything is sin. So far, only human person was sinful when he was hurting, but now even animals and plants and even Panjabhutas. So the church has added more sins to the list. So here is the paragraph number 8. It's brilliantly written by Pope Francis. He writes as follows: for human beings to destroy the biological diversity of God's creation, for human beings to degrade the integrity of the earth by causing changes in its climate, by stripping the earth of its natural forests or destroying its wetlands, for human beings to contaminate the earth's waters, its land, its air, and its life, these are sins. For to commit a crime against the natural world is a sin against ourselves and a sin against God. Laudato Si. Paragraph number 8. I want to conclude this segment with a quote from Karen Armstrong, the British writer, very famous writer. And this quote simply says, the religions were started in the first axial age, that is 600 to 700 BC, 2700 years ago. All religions came into existence. We call it the axial age. Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Confucianism, Shintoism, Taoism, Pythagoras in Greece, Zoroaster in Iran, and Prophet Jeremiah, Isaiah, Hosea in Palestine. All these great people, Aristotle and so on. So most of the time, Buddha, Mahavira, all this in the same time frame between 100 to 700 BC. Also Jesus Christ we can include. So all this axial age. So these great masters, their teachings were brilliant, but to that context, they were taught to the people, those who lived in that environment, in that time frame. But now today many people think those teachings are not making any sense in this 21st century. Our context is different, our thinking is different, our challenges are different, the challenges we face I'm talking about. So we need altogether a different religion, different teachings. And many people are not happy about the present teachings. And Karen Armstrong puts it so bluntly, and only she can write so beautifully. And I'm going to read and conclude this segment with this quote. Here it is. All over the world, people are struggling with these new conditions and are being forced to reassess their religious traditions, which were designed for a very different type of society. They are finding that the old forms of faith no longer work for them. They cannot provide the enlightenment and consolation that human beings seem to need. As a result, men and women are trying to find new ways of being religious. Like the reformers and prophets of the first axial age, they are attempting to build upon the insights of the past in a way that will take human beings forward into the new world that have created for themselves. So we can call it a second axial age. The first axial age, 2,700 years ago. Now, 21st century is the second axial age. Of course, those religions, we are not completely abandoning them. We are not putting a death nail to them, but now we are building on them. They are the foundation, and we have learned so much stuff. We thank them, and then we have got enlightened, so we are building a new avenues. And thank you. These are the 10 practical applications of Laudato Si. All you have to do is just type my name, Rayappa Kasi, Laudato Si models. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye.